2 years in the Philippines, and this is our story. 2 years in the Philippines. Is that long enough to make me an expert? Some people may say yes, others will say definitely not. And yeah, they are probably both right. Because on the one hand, I have experienced so many things, and on the other hand, I'm still learning new things every day. Before I get into some of the topics that I think are especially interesting for people who are wondering, what is it like to live in the Philippines? What is it really like to live in the Philippines? Besides the obvious things like the weather and climate, that it's a different culture, you know, all these general things that of course are true for every country in the world. Every country is different from your own country, the country where you were born and where you grew up and where you lived most of your life. So many of these things are quite obvious. So I want to get into the things that are not so obvious, my observations, my experiences, the things I've learned. But before we get to that, I want to show you some pictures. I recorded them all myself, and they show you all the things that my wife and I experienced in the last 2 years here in the Philippines, especially here in Pangasinan. We live here in the capital, Lingayen. We have a business here, a water refilling station. In the background you hear the pumps, the water pumps running. So this is our background music. There's also background music there from the neighbors. They are having a party again, like at least once a week when there's somebody's birthday. Well, this is the sound of the Philippines. Also the motorcycles, they're on the street, sometimes very loud. So before I come back to talk to you, enjoy the following little video clips. Have fun. As you could see in these video clips, we are living here in the Philippines like normal people live here, not in a gated community or something like that, but on a normal street in a normal, not very big town, not a metropolitan, but as I mentioned before, it's the capital of the province of Pangasinan. That means that a lot of things are going on here, festivals of all kinds, many events, concerts, etc. I will show you some more clips later. And of course, one of the many questions that people have is, from what do we live here? Are we rich? No, we are not. So how do we make a living? When we came to the Philippines 2 years ago, we had these 2 containers. It's actually 2 containers, and they are connected in the middle. There is a roof and there is a floor. You cannot see that here from above. We had them put here on this lot, and then we installed a water refilling station inside and a little store. And later, if we want, we can also use it as like a flat to live in there. So if you like, it's multifunctional, but at the moment we are using it for business. And as you can also see, we installed solar panels here on the roof of the containers, because electricity especially, is very expensive in the Philippines. and even more so if you earn your money in the Philippines. If you earn pesos and you spend pesos, then many things are not at all cheap. So this is one of the things that I would tell people who are interested to move to the Philippines and who want to know, is it worth it? Would you do it? Do I qualify? If you have a lot of money, if you are rich, if you have very high pensions that you get from your home country, whether that's a European country, I come from Germany, whether it's the US, Australia, whatsoever, you can live very well in the Philippines. If you don't, you have to find a way how you make money. We decided to make a business. There's also other ways, but it's definitely not easy. But the business we chose means that we have many customers who come to our store every day, especially to buy our drinking water. And that means we have many interactions with the people here. Not only with the family of my wife, who comes here from this place. Actually, where I am standing now was the house of her parents, and she used to live here when she grew up. Then later she moved to Metro Manila, and even later she moved to Germany, and even much later I met her in Germany, and eventually we married. And then we made the decision to come here to the Philippines. So we know many people, we talk to many people, I talk to many people, not only the neighbors, not only the family of my wife, but also the customers. Then we go to places like the town hall and places like that and talk to the people there. And doing so, I have learned a lot about the mentality of the people here. The mentality is different in many ways, but some things maybe you have never heard before. The one thing is, many people will tell you, when you go to the Philippines, you can speak English and you will get through easily with English. This is half true. There are many people who speak English, sometimes pretty well, sometimes better than I do myself, especially young people who go to university, to a college, something like that. But there is probably even more people who speak a little English, but it's difficult to have a conversation with them. And one of the things you have to get used to here is the people in many cases will not tell you that they didn't understand you. So that means you talk to them, you tell them something, you even ask for confirmation. So you got it, it's okay, and they will nod and they will say, yes, sir. And later you find out they didn't understand anything what you wanted from them. And then you should not be surprised if the things are not happening the way you expected them. It's one of the things that you should know. Another thing is, if you have a conversation with the people, they tend to change the topic as soon as they are tired of the original topic, or they don't understand anymore. They don't understand what you want from them. They don't know what they should say. They don't really know anything about this topic. So they just change it from one sentence to the next, and they are suddenly talking about something completely different. And it takes you a while to realize that. And then, of course, in our Western way, how we do things, that sometimes seems to be a little offensive, but it's not at all meant in an offensive way. This is just what the people are doing here, and you should know it. And you should not get upset about it, because they don't mean it in a bad way. Generally, the people here are very friendly and they are very curious about foreigners. How is it to be a foreigner in the Philippines? You are exotic. It's the other way around from what you are used when people like from the Philippines come to your country. So here, we, the white people, we are the exotic people, and the people stare at us sometimes. The guys are more like, say hello, hi, hi. The girls sometimes only stare. Now, it's a good thing that most men probably don't have a very big problem with women staring at them. But of course, you also shouldn't get the wrong idea about that. It's only, especially in places where they don't see many people like me. I am also quite tall. I am 6'3" tall, and so I'm a lot taller than most people here. So I stick out literally, and of course the people notice me, and then they stare. Also the children are staring, and this is something you have to get used to. Now, why is it important at all to have contact to the people here, to interact with the people? Why is that important, not only in the Philippines, but in any country that you choose to live that is not your home country? After a few more clips, I will be right back to talk about this. When you come to a foreign country, you are the foreigner. You are the one that nobody knows. You are the one who looks different, who speaks differently. You are the one who has a different mentality from all the others. There is a very high probability that you will get lonely very quickly. Now, from all I can tell, most people from Western countries who move to the Philippines are older, white Western men, just like me. And many of those are trying to find a woman, a wife, a girlfriend, a partner in the Philippines, which in my humble opinion is not really being discussed enough, because most of the people on YouTube, especially the YouTubers themselves, belong to this group. So of course they are maybe not very critical about it. In my opinion, there should be a stronger motivation than only to find a wife. Because to have a girlfriend or a wife who is a Filipina does not mean that you will not be lonely. If you only know her, and sooner or later you will meet her family, or at least parts of it, and it's very likely her family is huge and has many, many members, but that is a different thing, because they will not treat you and they will not consider you like one of them, at least not in a while. They will see you as something completely different. Not only the family of your woman, but also your neighbors, the people that you meet in the store. Almost all of them will consider you as somebody who has a lot of money, somebody they can milk. It doesn't matter what you tell them. They believe what they believe. In my case, and I met my wife already in Germany, and without any intention to ever come to the Philippines. That was pure coincidence that she was from the Philippines, but I liked her not for that, but for other very obvious reasons. I tell the people all the time, do you think I come here to this country and I make a business together with my wife, and we work very hard every day to earn the money that we need, and we cannot really afford very much. We don't go to a restaurant every day, maybe once a week if at all. That's all that we really have. So do you think I would do that if I had a lot of money? It doesn't matter. There's always somebody who will spread the rumor, somebody from the family or a neighbor, and they will always say, this guy, he has stole a lot of money in Germany. But don't believe what he says. So this is a very long process until they really accept you came here to build something up. You work like they work. You have to earn your money like they do. But it takes a long time for the people to at least kind of accept that, and 2 years are definitely not enough. I'm getting there, at least I hope, but I'm not there yet. Most people find that out sooner or later, and then of course they start to doubt whether they did the right step. And it's not the climate, and it's not money issues so much. It's not that there are power outages. It's not that in some regions it's difficult to get clean drinking water. It's not the typhoons, the earthquakes and so on. It's not the mosquitoes. It's not the many cockroaches that you have in the house, or the noise that you hear in the background here. Excuse me, but I want to show you the real life. You hear the chickens, and you hear the dogs barking, and you hear the loud vehicles on the street. The reason why the people doubt themselves is because they get lonely. And this is also the main reason. Okay, financial reasons probably maybe at the same level, but this is at least a very important reason why people give up and then they go back to where they came from, because they simply underestimated this problem. Many of you may say, well, but I am shy, I don't speak the language, etc. Language, of course, is an issue, and the language is my big disadvantage still after 2 years. I know many, many words, especially in Tagalog. There's also at least 2 regional languages here, which makes it even much more complicated, and the people are mixing it up all the time and mix it together with English. So that's very difficult sometimes. So the only way, if you want to learn a language, is either Tagalog, or maybe if you live in the Visayas, it would be Bisaya. That would also be a good idea there. Everything else probably doesn't make a lot of sense. And the older you get, the more difficult it will be to learn a new language. And I can unfortunately feel that very, very much. I don't make very much progress. I know more and more words, but it's very difficult for me to speak in full sentences. But you can do it in English. Of course, if you also don't speak English, then you will have a problem. But I think this is also true for every other country in the world. At least in the Philippines, English is quite okay. You get pretty far with it. But how do you do it? And now there is a misconception that many people have, because they are watching the YouTube videos. And you will also find many videos on this channel or on my German channel. I will link that in the description for the people who understand German, or you can probably get subtitles in English there. I'm not really sure if you can, but you can at least try. And there you will see many, many, many scenes, also in the little clips that I've shown you, where the people are friendly, waving, hi, hi, and yes, and you have a camera, are you a vlogger? And so the people think that people like to be filmed by a camera. They like to be on YouTube or on Facebook and so on. And this is in many, 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 if not most cases, not true. They are friendly from a distance. It's okay. You can also upload that. You should ask them, actually. There's also guidelines here in the Philippines that actually make that kind of mandatory, that you ask the people for consent. But what I have done in many cases, I didn't just film them from a distance, but I went closer and I wanted to start a conversation. How are you doing? So what are you doing here? So what's going on? And so on. And then you see immediately the girls are doing this, the guys are smiling and, oh, I don't understand. There's, by the way, a term, they say, I get nosebleed. That means it's too much English. I cannot speak so much English with you. This is like their excuse, kind of. It's kind of cute. You also have to know that. And this way you will not get very far. If you want to talk to the people, put the camera in your pocket, no camera, and you will have success. If you are friendly, if you are curious about their culture, about their life, etc., and they will be willing to talk to you, at least many of them, They are very proud of their country. They like to show you things. So go to events, start to talk about the things that you see there. Actually, the people are very camera shy, most of them. And this is why the best conversations that I have with people are never on any of the YouTube channels, because they would never happen with a camera. So for all those people who have no YouTube channel and only want to go to the Philippines and who want to be integrated in some way, who want to have interactions with the normal people here, be open, but don't bother the people with your cameras. Be humble, be interested, be curious. Don't get into politics, under normal circumstances at least. Try to be a part of the community. Try to help the community. If you don't have the money, not in a monetary way, there's other ways where you can participate, where you can do something. It's always a good idea to also know some of the officials at the barangay or at the municipality. So this is the end of this video. I hope it was interesting, maybe some thoughts that other people haven't thought yet, or at least not on YouTube. I will see how much interest this video will get. Of course, it always depends on the impressions that YouTube makes. I don't have it in my hands. This channel has suffered from something that I don't understand yet, why suddenly the numbers drop dramatically. And whatever I'm doing, if I make videos about a solar installation or whatever I do, there is not many views anymore. Not like there used to be on the channel like a year ago. I hope you will give many likes, and I hope some people will maybe subscribe to the channel. Then I would maybe make another video of a similar kind and talk about some other topics that maybe not everybody talks about. Or maybe you have questions that you can write in the comments, and then I can see if I can make something about this. So I wish everybody a great time. See you sometime soon. Bye.